South of Newcastle, in the foothills of the mighty Drakensberg, lies One Tree Hill, venue of the 1998 South African National Hang Gliding Championships. Pilots from all over South Africa converge to compete for the coveted prize of National Champion and the Provincial Team title. The defending champions, Western Province, is set to face stiff competition from Gauteng and the home team, KwaZulu-Natal.
Our goal today is a little bit further than yesterday's turn point. You'll see on your right hand side you've got a small little dam, and you've got a gravel road just before the dam that crosses the main road.
For the first leg of the day's task, pilots need to fly from One Tree Hill in a southerly direction to the railway and R23 crossing near Pepworth Station, a distance of 39 kilometers. After photographing this turn point, they have to continue past Ladysmith to the N3 and R23 junction, a total distance of 66 kilometers.
Okay, your GPS coordinates are there. If you just want to hear them quickly: south 28 degrees, 29 minutes and 30 seconds. East 29 degrees, 50 minutes and 45 seconds.
With the absence of the defending champion, Dolph Pretorius, the title is up for grabs, and after day one, Frank Jasinski is leading the field. For the team title, Western Province is playing second fiddle to Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, finding themselves struggling with the very different flying conditions compared to that of the Western Cape.
Open window, so we're going to sit and wait because the whole team has to get off as soon as we're flying as a team. First thing is takeoff, and I would suggest we look at the bottom takeoff as a first option, because when it does cool down a bit, it will be a better takeoff at this point in time.
Being observant is the name of the game, and there is very little that escapes the eye of a good pilot. The whole idea is to know where the lifting air is, but since the air is invisible, pilots use other visual clues to try and pinpoint where the air is going up or down. By steering their gliders into these areas of rising air, they're able to cover vast distances and stay airborne for hours on end. For the pilots, it's like a chess game in the sky, as they plan and try to make all the right moves to stay in the air and complete the day's task. The first pilot, or wind dummy as is known to fellow pilots, takes to the air and immediately starts going up. This is a good sign of rising air, and soon other pilots follow in quick succession. They're all hoping to take advantage of the same thermal and gain valuable altitude. Lasting only a few minutes, the thermal carries up the pilots who timed it right. Those who launch late fall out the bottom of the thermal and start an uneasy glide down toward the bottom landing zone. With only a few small bubbles of lift remaining, it's a tense moment as pilots stretch their flying skills to the limit. Flying as efficiently as possible, they patiently circle in anything that is not going down. They need to remain airborne until the next strong thermal comes along to carry them up and away from the hill. For some, the bottom landing zone is the only option, and a score of 0 points for the day becomes reality. For the pilots who do get up and away, it's hard going. They report weak lifts and attain only 2,000 feet above launch. To make matters worse, the wind swings to the east, making the task even more difficult, as pilots now have to fly across the wind to reach goal.
Maxed out about 500 meters above takeoff, but I only was 300 above on my final glide. When you launched, that was about the time it was changing. That's becoming soarable, and that's it. But you can't get height, so you can't go anywhere.
Austin Lindsay, flying for KwaZulu-Natal, takes a route flying over the back mountains, far from any roads. Risking a long walk, should he miss a thermal, his gamble pays off, and he wins the day.
I made the decision to go around the back, stay on the high places. I landed in a very inconvenient place, but at the end of the day it was worth it.
Okay, your maximum lift will be from 13,000 feet to 15,000 feet, which will be over 6 meters a second.
Day 4 of the 1998 SA National Hang Gliding Championships. The strong soaring conditions predicted for the day is received with eager enthusiasm, as the pilots are all faced with the prospect of good flying. The chances of some thunderstorms developing in the afternoon can cut short the day's flying time, curbing any ideas of a long task. Playing it safe, the task selectors opt for a shorter race to goal with no turn points. Competitors need to fly from One Tree Hill to Barent Maria Spruit, a small farm just short of Ladysmith. This will give pilots a target distance of 41 kilometers. The first pilot takes to the air, and conditions are judged to be perfectly soarable. The good lift in front of takeoff spurs the competitors on, and they line up to wait their turn to launch. Kathy Bordenet, the only female competitor, wastes no time and proceeds to execute a perfect takeoff. She immediately connects with strong lift and climbs away at more than 500 feet per minute. Not to be outdone, the other competitors follow her straight away, all of them eager to get into the rising air. Frank Jasinski and Benny Duplessis are the only two pilots flying the latest high-performance hang gliders. These gliders have no top rigging and thus provide less drag, giving better glides and top-end speed. Although pilot skill plays the biggest part in competing, it is not surprising that at this stage these two are dominating the competition. On this task, we take a flight with our camera pilot for some of the aerial action. This spectacular footage will give you an idea of the views and the decision-making the pilots go through during their flights.
Okay, we've done a right turn and we're heading off to the point, seeing as this is where most of the other pilots had got up from. So we'll search around here and see if there's any thermal activity. There's nothing much happening here right now. I think we'll fly back along this edge of the mountain, past takeoff, and see if there's anything else over there. Just under my left wing, we'll turn it back, there we go. Okay, we're coming up on takeoff right now. There's just sinking air over here, but hopefully we'll run into some lifting air along the edge of the mountain. There we go, 200 feet a minute. Should start our turn now. That's it. Bit of lift under the right wing, come around, there we go. I can see someone on the point starting to climb. I'll keep an eye on him. Bit of rough here. Actually, the pilot on the point is climbing well now, so I think we'll head off that way. Nice, it's 300 feet a minute. It's quite big and smooth. There you can see launch coming up on your left, and this is quite a nice thermal. I'll carry on turning here and see how far we can go with this one.
Seeing the camera pilot climbing up away from the mountain has enticed some of the other pilots to also take to the air, as they too search for that free ride from Mother Nature to get to goal.
Alright, our thermal has increased in strength a bit. We're doing 400 feet a minute. So I've tightened our turning circle, and around us you can see some other pilots also climbing in the general area, but we are doing a bit better than what they are, so we'll stay around here. We're passing through the 1,500 mark and getting up quite nicely. I can see another gaggle of pilots getting up quite fast, so it seems like there's a better bubble of lift out there. We'll straighten out and head that way. It looks quite good. And here we go. We've actually hit some lift before we even got to the gaggle. We're doing 400 to 500 feet a minute, climbing well, and we're actually approaching the 2,000 foot mark.
For our camera pilot, things are not just plain sailing. Here he flies into some turbulence, causing even the cables on his glider to go slack.
This is Anton here. Go ahead, Anton, over. Johan, I'm climbing up fast. I think it's below you. Do you have visual? Not a problem, Anton. I see you. Over.
With so many pilots in the air, the risk of having a mid-air collision does exist. Being observant and knowing where the other competitors are becomes almost second nature. Here it is well illustrated as the two pilots synchronize their flight circles, climbing together in the thermal lift.
Oh, that was a nice climb. We're sitting at 3,500 feet above takeoff now, and we're high enough to go on a glide towards goal. Hopefully we'll get some lift along the way.
Back at launch, the hill is almost devoid of pilots. The girlfriends and wives have been delegated the task of retrieve driving and have a last-minute discussion before embarking on their trip. For our camera pilot, engrossed in his flying, things are not quite going to plan. He heads off to the mountains that had worked so well the day before for Austin Lindsay, but this time round he finds only sinking air.
Well, it seems I've lucked out over here. There's no lift around here and we're losing altitude quickly. So while we still have enough height, I'll turn around and head back towards the road.
Along the way he finds another thermal, allowing him to glide to the halfway point before finally landing alongside the road with another competitor. Conditions deteriorate rapidly as a thunderstorm moves in and kills all available lift. Our lieutenant, flying for KwaZulu-Natal, lands in the strong wind of the storm and does some damage to his glider. On this day, only 2 pilots made goal. Frank Jasinski is first and, surprising everyone, Mel de Villiers, who's been flying for only 3 years, comes in second and places himself in a strong third position. The strong northwesterly wind has forced pilots to use the west-facing ramp for the day. The wind speed is measured at 40, gusting 60 km an hour, and the choice to fly hangs in the balance. But this is the last day of the National Championships. The decision is made and a task is set. From One Tree Hill, competitors need to fly west, over Dundee and Glencoe to the R68 and Buffels River crossing, a distance of 55 kilometers. Frank and Benny has a comfortable lead, lying first and second overall. Mel's third place position was still within reach of the other competitors, and the air has some tension over and above the good-spirited nature of the pilots. Because of the strong conditions, some of the team members elect not to fly, compromising their positions for safety reasons. But for the more experienced pilots, it's go all the way. Soon Benny and Frank find themselves climbing in a strong thermal to cloud base, almost 7,000 feet above ground. Benny gets to cloud first and glides off towards goal, opening a lead of 2 kilometers ahead of Frank. Due to tremendous pilot skill, it is not long before the first pilot races into goal. With a winning time of 1 hour and 2 minutes, averaging 55 kilometers an hour, Frank is in first, having passed Benny along the way.
I'm expecting Benny here. He was ahead of me and I don't know where I overtook him. So I was actually expecting him here, and then Mel was pretty low. I don't know if he'll make it. The other guys, I don't know who else took off, but if the guys take off, they'll definitely make it. It's excellent conditions, good lift. Highest I got was almost 6,000 feet above takeoff. The thermals were about 3 meters a second, and it was pretty good lift all the way. The clouds worked well. The wind was definitely in our favor, so sometimes we're doing about 120 k's an hour. And hell no, it was very good.
Having made a tactical error, Benny missed a thermal and found himself low, struggling to get back up. This allowed Frank to slip by and take the lead. Calling through on the radio, he asked if Frank had made goal.
Ja. 13 minuten terug.
I went on a glide for a fire which didn't work, and then I was in deep trouble. Just started with something very broken up, and eventually it triggered and got nice. Got about 3 meters a second, and that was enough for the final glide. Well done, Benny. Yes! Well done, Frank. Beat me flipping well there. You see where I gobbled? I was so close on the deck. Really? I was soaring a training hill.
Mel was reported being low, hanging on in a weak lift as he struggled to fly far enough to maintain his third place. For Austin Lindsay, it's another good performance that should see him into the top 5.
Yo, that was a rough landing. A thermal, you see how it's trashing me. It's trying to lift the one wing up all the time. One wing, come on, you can't get straight. I really thought I was going to end up in one of these bushes over here or in the fence eventually. It was not a good choice of a landing field. Black, flat, sun beating down on it. I mean, this is just a place for a thermal to happen. I'm surprised that Mel's not here. He looks like he's doing really well.
With Mel still not within sight of goal, the chances are good for Richard Schmidt to secure third place. Launching late but flying fast, Richard comes in with the second fastest time of the day, scoring valuable points and placing pressure on Mel to fly that extra mile. Scanning the skies and calling for him on the radio is to no avail, as Mel eventually lands 10 kilometers short of goal. But he scores just enough distance points to retain third position overall. The last pilot gliding into goal signals the close of the National Hand Gliding Championships. It is Guy Blaine from Eastern Province, who is more a fun pilot than a serious competitor. Happier than most, he expresses delight in having made goal.
Exhilarating. Really good.
You were quite low at one stage.
Very low. Had the zip open twice already. And just past the turn off, just for that copy. Man, I didn't like that copy much.